Good morning, dear ones. I hope you are all doing fabulously today. And we are going to continue on our journey through the universal laws. Coming up is number 6, the law of compensation. The law of compensation is about reaping what you sow. It instills trust in us that we will be compensated for our work as long as we are open to receiving in all the many ways that the universe can deliver. To be clear, compensation in this sense isn't limited to employment arrangements or financial compensation. Rather, it's about receiving compensation for all your contributions to the world around you. Rather, love, joy, and kindness that you spread. It is all rewarded. So when you look at the law of compensation, you can see that it is actually the law of cause and effect applied to blessings and abundance that are provided for us. The visible effects of our deeds are given to us in gifts, money, inheritances, friendships, and even blessings. What do you think of yourself? What image are you holding of yourself? The key to successful living is the right adjustment of your thoughts, the image that you hold. The principle involved here is that when you become too large for your present place, you begin to draw yourself to something larger. Like water, we find our own true level. You can never keep a good person down. When we are fulfilling our life purpose, when we do things for the sake of the greater good, the universe compensates us for this by providing for us. How this works has to do with our vibration, our frequency. If our frequency is only about doing things so that we can be compensated, we negate being compensated because the intention is not pure and it does not serve our highest and greatest good and that of the entire universe. When we focus only on the money and allow that to be our end goal, we chase it, which only pushes it further away from us. So often when we reach for something and it's too soon and we cannot grab hold of it, we're actually pushing it further away from us. Allow your first thought to be service to your highest and greatest good, which is in line with that of the universe, as we are all one, and you will then be compensated accordingly. So when we understand how the universe actually works, and we apply these laws and we understand these laws fully, it is so much easier for us to have them work for us. Okay, it's exactly the same as the laws of a country. When you know and understand how laws work, there are certain people who have a perfect understanding of the law of that particular country, and they know then how to work around it or to make that particular law work for them. Most of the time they're lawyers, and those lawyers are compensated quite well for their knowledge. We all know this. And we go to them for any advice. And when they give us advice, they charge because they're charging for the time. So this is also about compensation. They charge because they have taken that time, not only to study the laws, but they've got all of the law books that they can refer back to all the time. And when you are in an environment where you have a healing practice, so many healers and spiritual advisors feel bad about charging for their services. So we turn around and we explain that it's not the service that you're charging for, it's the time. It's the time to impart the knowledge that you have taken the time to gather, understand and process, and be able then to impart that particular knowledge to those people in most need of it. So when we're looking at the law of compensation, when we know and we are absolutely sure that what we do is specifically intended for our highest and greatest good, but also in so doing, because remember, we are all one and one with the divine. So when we are acting, we have a law of inspired action. When we are acting for the highest and greatest good, when we have that belief that our highest and greatest good is aligned with our personality and is aligned with the highest and greatest good for all concerned, because we are all one and one with divine. When we know that that alignment is pure and true, we will be compensated as such. And then we are able to love ourselves. So this is where this whole frequency of loving ourselves comes in. It's so important to, when we love ourselves, to love ourselves, yes, unconditionally. And we will then be compensated with others loving us unconditionally. Why? Because we are loving ourselves. That is that circular motion. We're sending that particular love out because we're sending that love and that confidence out. Even when we're feeling like we're having a bit of a wobble. Perhaps you haven't slept very well. Perhaps somebody has upset you with their stuff because you have taken it on, or because perhaps they keep shooting that particular energy at you. And if they find a chink in your armor and it gets through, and then you have a situation of feeling less than yourself. Don't beat yourself up about it. Remember, you're doing the best you can. So if you are experiencing a physical down, a dip in your energies, that is okay. Loving yourself is not scolding yourself for it. Loving yourself is not making yourself fire on all of those cylinders. Even if you're capable of firing on all cylinders, maybe don't push the accelerator pedal as hard. Be kind to yourself, because you know that you have perhaps had a bad night, or perhaps you're suffering with an emotional issue that you're having difficulty getting through or letting go. So your first law is that we are all one and one with the divine. And would the divine be scolding you? No. Our self-speak is the most important change that we need to make in order to love ourselves. Because as we love ourselves for who we are unconditionally, so we then are able to love the rest of humanity and the earth and everything that is in it, that lives and breathes. And I'm talking about anything that has an essence. We're talking about any of the cockroaches or the ants or the flies even, and even the mosquito that annoys the daylights out of you. We're talking about the little robins, the birds, the plants. All of those things are all a part of us. And when we are kind to ourselves, that energy is then reflected in the kindness we show others. And that is also a little bit of compensation as well. When we are treating ourselves well, we are compensated by other people treating us well. So this is an energetic compensation. And we must remember that if our truest goal and aim is to be kind to all living things, then we will be compensated with that kindness. But if it's only about getting a compensation, if you sort of say to yourself, I'm going to do that for that person because I know they're generous, they're going to give me a present. Your goal is not to do something nice for that other person. Your goal is to receive the present from that person. And that is putting the cart before the horse. We need to first give in order to receive. The energy comes from us and goes out. So we need to know what energy we're sending out and then is mirrored back to us again. What energy are you sending out today? Are you sending out loving, kind, gentle energy? Are you treating yourself with love and gentleness and kindness? Or are you scolding yourself for not being good enough? Are you scolding everybody else in your head for lying to you, for being silly about things, for being harsh to you, for basically treating you in a way that makes you feel anything less than the divine energy that you are. Forgive them, for they do not know what they do. Forgive them, let it go, because the only energy that you're in charge of is your own. Dear ones, love yourself today, and you will be compensated for it by the divine. Remember the 5 Reiki principles and the 4 agreements. Namaste. Have a wonderful day.